Welcome to another edition of Lajes Connect, where we connect you with the Lajes community. My name is Rick Baptista, and I'm the Chief of Public Affairs for the 65th Air Base Group. In the studio today, we have Chaplain Corps team, Chaplain McMillan and Senor Victor Machado in the studio with us. Gentlemen, thank you for joining us.
You're welcome.
Awesome. So, talking about the chaplain, talking about the services that you guys provide, the Corps team, bringing stuff to the fight and bringing stuff to our airmen, our Big A airmen. What can we look forward to in the chaplain?
Well, everything that we do is really driven by what our core mission is. So the reason that the Chaplain Corps exists for the military and then also for the civilian members who are part of, as you said, the Big A Airmen, it's all of us working together. But our core mission really is to provide for the spiritual well-being of our folks. Interesting thing about that, as you know, is people in the military and in the military community all come from very different backgrounds. So sometimes people think of the spiritual well-being and they automatically think about certain religions like Christianity or Muslim or whatever. Well, it really includes spirituality from all different angles. So we do our best in the Chaplain Corps to try to figure out what those needs are in our particular population, and then to try to meet those, sometimes in a religious sense, providing worship services, things like that, but then also just providing care for the soul of individuals wherever they happen to be. So sometimes we talk with folks about things that are not religious related at all. It might just be things that they're struggling from within, challenges that they have with maybe purpose and direction in life, what it is that makes them tick from within. And that's really what we're concerned with as a Chaplain Corps, that internal piece.
That's great. A lot of times we hear the term chaplain or spirituality, and we try to associate it or correlate it with religion. And that basically is not true. You do not have to correlate that. It's not a direct correlation. In order to be spiritual, that you have to be religious. There is a separation there, and I think that education part, informing people that there's a difference and helping them understand that your health in regards to spirituality does not have to be driven by religious practices, that there are other forms, and the services that you provide help educate folks on that. And so on a day-to-day basis or a week-to-week basis, what can we expect from the Chaplain Corps team? What can we see from them?
I'd like, if it's okay, Vitor, to kind of answer that. He really directs and supports a lot of our programs that happen on here at Lajes. So if it's okay, I'll let Vitor talk a little bit about some of those things.
Well, we have several programs that we've implemented throughout the years to kind of bring people out of their jobs and kind of hang out together, some of them. And we've also done some other programs where we go off base and have them help with the community. So on base we have like the Airmen's Lunches where people just hang out together for a lunch, and we try to have a menu that they don't usually have access to. It's been harder lately. Once the chapel is renovated, we're planning on going back and making some of those foods that you don't usually see here at Lajes, like Mexican food or some other foods that we've done from the Philippines and stuff like that. So people can try something a little different. But the main objective is having people just come together and have a good time, which no matter what religion you come from, you can go and have a good time with your friends and talk. And so that's one of the programs. We've also have our fellowship dinners where we pick a restaurant off base and we go and again, chat and eat, have fun. That's, I guess, for people in the military, especially in this base right now where it's unaccompanied military members, it's important to create these bonds. And so eating and drinking might be one of the best ways to create bonds, And so having these dinners provide people with these opportunities. And just recently we did the walk to Sajeta, and so we had dinner at Caneda in Altarj and then walked to Sajeta. So for the military members, it was a good opportunity to see a local religious tradition. Most people do it for fun anyway, so it was good for them to socialize and then do the walk and see what's going on on the island. And obviously we have many other programs happening in the chapel right now, like we're having a women's ministry and children's ministry. We finally got some volunteers that wanted to pick up those projects. And so, you know, it's been an interesting year so far.
Those are fantastic events. You talk about the food and the drink, and really what we're looking at is an opportunity to socialize and get together with the community. One of the easiest things to do here is to get focused on your job, put your head down, nose to the grindstone, and get it done. And then all of a sudden, by the time you realize it, it's been 6 months, 7 months, and you really haven't made, or you haven't worked on your social skills or your spiritual fitness, and getting the idea of working on those areas. And that's where you kind of come in and help people go, hey, it's time to lift your head from doing that day-to-day business and realize that, hey, we're stronger as a team, which means I need to know the airmen, whether they wear the uniform or they're in civilian clothes. I need to know who they are as a person, and I can stand beside them, and maybe I can help them. We never know what it is that will help that individual the next day. I mean, just a smile or a good morning or a bon dia will help that person get through their day. And I think that's fabulous. And the events that you do, I try and get out there, try and get to the airman lunches, and you hit the nail on the head when you said it's different food that we're not used to. And I think that's great to be able to talk to people that I don't usually run into, or other organizations that they don't run into. Recently, we offered you offered the airmen's lunch at the fire department. You know, when was the last time our airmen were down at the fire department?
Very true.
We get to see different work locations and work centers and understand what people's missions are. Very important.
Yeah, it's interesting too. I think I'm glad Vitor brought up that social aspect, because a large part of spiritual resiliency, like having that strength within, comes from community. As you would attest, more and more we have a society where people are kind of withdrawing to themselves. You know, media and technology has kind of given us a excuse to retreat from each other. And so, as Vitor brought up, you know, like the Airman's Lunch is one example. When people actually start to have that face-to-face interaction, sometimes the struggles that you have inside begin to just kind of resolve, because really relationship helps you work through challenges. And in an informal way, you may not have had like a formal counseling session per se, but you just, through talking to somebody and a friend and saying, yeah, I'm really struggling with this particular issue, you know, and that person saying, you know what, I've been through that too. And something about that helps to bring some peace and some healing on the inside that you might not have otherwise. And so we get to kind of facilitate that, where, you know, we may not necessarily directly give counsel. In a lot of cases, we might just be making an environment where they can do that. And that also happens religiously too. So like when the worship services meet on Sundays and the Bible studies and all that stuff, that happens in that more religious context, but it's the same idea. It's that community of people building themselves stronger within because of each other. So that's a really big thing.
Not an electronic community.
Right.
Right. And so it's a physical face-to-face, and great for our society. Obviously, our folks now, they want to stay in contact with folks that are not on the island. They use the electronics, whether it be through the Skype, whatever mediums they use, but having that face-to-face contact and going through some of the challenges that you're going through, that we all go through. We never know when the person beside us may be going through the same. True. And when we do that conversation electronically, we lose that. Yeah. And those activities that you create an environment of cooperation, of teamwork. It's one of the 3 T's that we have here. You help build our trust, and you help increase the teamwork that we have amongst our individuals. Again, as a whole team aspect, not just those in the uniform, and not just those in the civilian attire. We're one team here, and we need to work together for the one fight.
Is it okay if we transition kind of to that last topic we mentioned we were going to talk about, is the importance of this team here?
Yes.
So Vitor and I have a lot of fun. He's got an incredibly great sense of humor, which I'm sure most everybody here knows that about Vitor. So we do a lot of teasing and jabbing at each other through the day, but it's really a lot of fun. Just the relationship we have. I really have come to value very deeply the contribution that he and I together have as a team, because Vitor, obviously knowing the people, the culture, everything about this whole place where we are living for just a very short period of time, really, he has the ability to integrate, especially I'll just speak for the chaplain, but integrate me into what's happening here. And like, for example, the trip to Sergeta, I know I said it wrong, Sergeta, did I do better? He gives me trouble about my horrible pronunciation, which is all true. But that was his idea. And it turned out to really be a fantastic thing for the airmen who went. And so a lot of the people are like, oh wow, this is a really neat tradition here on the island. I would have never known about that tradition had Vitor not told me about it and said, hey, this would be a really great experience for your folks. And so his concept on that, pulled that together, we advertised it, and it turned out to be a fantastic program. So all that to say that our team has to be the way it is, because otherwise, if we just had uniformed members in this position, I would never be able to connect with the culture and the needs and the people, and to build that teamwork that we really need here to make this an effective Chaplain Corps team here at Lajes Field.
That's a fabulous story, and that's great. And hopefully we can get more of those events that are happening off the installation and get our members. I mean, they're living in the community. Now we need them to participate in the community.
Integrate, yep.
And not just at the restaurants.
Which is great, by the way.
Which is good food. Yeah,
the food's amazing.
Food's good, but we want them to enjoy our tradition. And the Portuguese workforce is proud of its traditions and proud and wants to show, like we all do. And we want to integrate, know what the U.S. Culture is, and we want to learn about that. But we also want to teach folks about our culture. It's not a young culture; it's a pretty old one. So.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So, is there anything else that you'd like to share with the community?
No, I would just say that the Airman's Lunch was, going back a few years, was what I feel really kind of broke the barrier between military and the civilian Portuguese, because they used to be separate. Used to be kind of like two teams. You had the military and then you had the Portuguese civilians. And then when the commander at the time suggested, like, I want this to be a whole team and I want people to hang out together. And we started having numbers, above 150 people for a lunch. So that's a big number looking at the amount of people that we have on this island. And it kind of broke the barrier, and it became an airman's lunch where you had 50-50, 50 military and 50% Portuguese. And I think it kind of broke a little bit of the barriers. And I believe Portuguese became less scared of the Americans, and the Americans became less scared of the Portuguese, because there was some kind of, people had doubts, two different peoples. And, it's always scary. And so people wanted to keep some distance, even though they work on base. They kept some distance from the military folks, and vice versa. And I think that helped break some of those barriers. Yeah.
That's a great example. So for folks to know, the Chaplain Corps team is located in building T112. We're currently located over there while our home station is going to be renovated. So you're in T112 and you have a great facility for coffee. I know I'm a big fan of that. And so if you want to come by and ask questions on how you can participate or events that may be going on, coming by and see you. Is there a phone number that people can reach you at?
Yeah, they can reach us at 535-4211. So that is our number for the Chaplain Corps. We also have in my office a massage chair. If people would like, I've been trying to advertise this, so this might be the best way. We have a massage chair, so if you're having a rough time and you want to have 15 minutes of just relaxation, we have an awesome massage chair. It comes with its own sound system so you can relax. So my door is always open, so just come and check it out.
Is that an authorized alternate duty location? So
Absolutely.
I can now go over. I may be one of your first customers then to come on.
He's over.
He's probably over at the Chaplain. You may see a lot more customers now that we're advertising it that way. That's great news.
That's why we bought it for. We bought it so those military members and everybody else, if they were having a stressful day and you want to relax, just hop on that chair. It has heating, it has basically everything you need, and just go there and relax and by the time you leave, maybe you'll feel a little better. I mean, that's the whole reason we have the chair. We used to give it a lot more use at T100 because I believe people knew about it. Since we moved to T112, I don't think people really know about it. And also we have obviously a new team, you know, they keep rotating so fast. And I just want to spread out the word that we do have an awesome massage chair. So.
Awesome. You've tested it and you make sure, right?
I've
Is there a daily
tested it.
requirement that you have to test it and make sure?
It is a
kind of like a
complex-
roller coaster ride. You have to have
It
the
is
safety.
a complex machine, but it won't break your back.
So you can grab a coffee, get a mini snack, and get a relaxation and get refocused and recentered for the mission. All thanks to the Chaplain core team
Absolutely.
at Lajes Field.
Yep, and all the generous folks who give through the chapel financially to help support those things as well. So we really appreciate them.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you for joining us today. That's another edition of Lajes Connect, where we get you the information that's happening in the Lajes community. Stay tuned for another edition. Thank you and have a good day.